For decades, Saudi Arabia has been known for its rigid desert climate. It is one of the driest countries in the world and is home to one of the world's largest deserts. Besides its climate, Saudi Arabia is known for its extreme wealth and prosperity in oil production. However, something unexplainable is happening in Saudi Arabia as one of the driest regions is now flourishing in agriculture. This stunning transformation has increased food productivity and the export of agricultural products. What is the cause of this remarkable fortune, and what do scientists have to say about it? Be sure to watch till the end to find out all the astonishing details of Saudi Arabia's newly found fortune. Saudi Arabia is famous for being home to the largest continuous sand desert, known to the locals as Rub al-Khali and also widely called the Empty Quarter. It occupies a large mass of Saudi Arabia, about 250,000 square miles, equivalent to 666,000 square kilometers. It is a continuous desert with salt flats, also known as sabkas, several spread sand dunes, and crests. This area is uninhabitable because it is infertile and unproductive for any activity. It simply occupies a large portion of the land without any productivity. Having a huge desert, it is no surprise that Saudi Arabia's climate is warm and dry, but not hostile, but semi-arid, especially during the summer. The warmest and ironically the rainiest region is Jizan, while the coldest region is Badia. The climate is categorized based on the parts of Saudi Arabia. The northern parts are known as the subtropics, and the southern regions, on the other hand, are the tropics. During the day, the weather is very hot, almost scorching hot. At night, the weather has a low temperature and it is very cold. The dry climate condition is not exaggerated. Summers in the central region are extremely hot and dry. The temperature has been recorded to be about 27 degrees Celsius to 43 degrees Celsius in the inland areas and 27 degrees Celsius to 38 degrees Celsius in coastal areas. Also, for the most part of the annual rainfall, according to records on average, the annual rainfall in Saudi Arabia is usually below 150 millimeters. However, in southwestern Saudi Arabia, rainfall is recorded to be 400 to 600 millimeters annually. Due to this, there is insignificant fertile land to aid agricultural activities, except in the southwestern region, which has the most rain. Even so, the soil is poorly developed and barely hanging on to produce from minimal agriculture. In Saudi Arabia, the fertile land is only about 1.5% of the country. Due to extreme climate change, the size is most likely to be reduced. One of the major challenges stopping arable land development is the salt flats and pebbles spread across a large part of the land. Worse still, there are no dependable water sources or surface streams to encourage irrigation by the country. However, there are wadis widely spread about the land. With insufficient water supply, there is a large dependence on rainfall and dry farming. The food provided is enough for the local population, especially by growing indigenous farm produce and local crops. If large-scale agriculture was impossible, what changed? It is no secret that the fertile land in Saudi Arabia is little to nothing. In 1961, it was measured to be about 0.53%, while in 2020, it was only about 1.60%. It is evident that while the food supply in Saudi Arabia was not a pressing problem, it certainly was neither in abundance. What changed? As convenient as it is to give all the appreciation to nature, there are more pronounced factors that lead to the fortune change in the history of Saudi Arabia's agriculture. It would have been easier for the government to support Arabia's economy solely on oil production. The immense wealth gathered from being one of the world's largest producers of petroleum products has been responsible for its citizens' welfare and the state's development. It would be an understatement to say that there has been any real economy-based hardship ever since the discovery of oil in 1938, 1,440 meters deep in the Dammam oil field. Unlike the trend of the world being reliant on their dependable resources and limited to their comfort zone, Saudi Arabia's agriculture reformation results from hard work, persistence, and resilience from both government and citizens. In fighting the lurking Frankenstein of soil degradation and unavoidable food insecurity waiting to happen, the government used what was in abundance to fight what was becoming a threat. Wealth, the new renovation, and the support of technology and human labor were lavishly funded by the state's resources, whatever measures and at whatever market price. Good thing Saudi Arabia is more than capable of affording the best of the best. This is not the first time Saudi Arabia would attempt measures to improve its soil health. There have been devastating and costly measures from 1980 and in the past several years. The outcome could have been more encouraging than it was. However, with time comes advancement. There has been much more improvement in the technology sector than in many other sectors, which has given Saudi Arabia a more promising outcome than in the past. In the quest for agricultural sustainability, the Saudi Arabia government launched the Vision 2030 program, which involves substantial agricultural improvement in the state. To this project, there have been various contributions. Of the numerous measures put in place, using satellites for recording and keeping images of farmland is the most widely known. How does this work? The equipment allows us to record and compare water requirements for each soil and soil planted. The saved images analyze the changes and improvements alongside the measures to ensure long-term results. Another technological aid is the liquid nanoclay, LNC, a patented work by a Norwegian scientist. This measure seems to have been employed by the United Arab Emirates, which compares closely with Saudi Arabia's land and climate. In layman's terms, the liquid nanoclay measure is used to trap water in the soil since it is incapable of holding water because of the loose sand particles. With the LNC, the level of water present in the soil is increased, and so are the chances of soil recovery and growing crops. Despite being expectedly expensive, there are even better advantages to LNC. The most prominent is saving up to 50% of water consumption, which has never been thought possible. In addition, foreign partnerships and joint ventures with other states, individuals, and organizations have been to improve agriculture in Saudi Arabia. This ensures the provision of raw materials, tools, and machinery to aid the project's success. In return, these third-party contributions are matched with the exemption of taxes in Saudi Arabia for up to 10 years. This advantage has pushed more companies to pitch into the cause. Private sectors have also played a huge role in agricultural development due to the different programs offered by the government for more profitable farming. No-interest loans, technical and incentive support, provision of fertilizer, free seeds, and other soil requirements piqued the interest and participation of many. Unlike earlier, risks were willing to be taken by entrepreneurs, and more job opportunities for citizens as farm workers. Overall, there were more positive outlooks toward engaging agriculture in agricultural activities. With several measures employed, are the yields as profitable as hoped? It is not an exaggeration to conclude that Saudi Arabia is doing so much better than the rest of the world based on its agricultural history. The change is nothing short of tremendous. It is one of the century's highlights regarding economic and agricultural development. The traces of the old Saudi Arabia seem so far behind. Seeing the well-deserved change and a more bountiful agricultural economy in Saudi Arabia is delightful. Recently, Saudi Arabia has been rapidly climbing its way to being part of the major exporters of agricultural products worldwide. Although the water supply might need even more improvement as the agricultural output increases, dams have been constructed to trap and reserve water for agricultural purposes. There is an improvement from the previous state. Among the export goods are several indigenous farm products, such as flowers. There is special importation of wheat, cereals, milk, other dairy products, meat, fruits, vegetables, and larger fish. Fish farming in Saudi Arabia had taken the world by storm, from being unexpectedly a good portion of export goods. The export of fish has increased aquaculture and the interest of entrepreneurs, promoting private investment. Also, Saudi Arabia has recently become a major global milk supplier. It is presently home to the largest dairy farm in the Middle East, a major achievement. According to market analysis, Saudi Arabia has become the largest market for agriculture in the Gulf Cooperation Council region, GCC, not just because of the increased supporting population for agriculture, but because, presently, agriculture contributes about 53 billion SR annually to its GDP. Saudi Arabia's agricultural improvement involves risks, persistence, and determination. While it is easy to sit back and enjoy comfort, the rest of the world continues to advance. This is not the case for Saudi Arabia, whose government took its major threat by the horn and changed it into a profitable resource. If you liked this video, remember to smash that subscribe button right now and check out the next video on your screen we've already prepared for you.